All right, camera set up, found a beautiful mountain road, and I figured I would just take you for a drive. So let's get going. There we are. Right now, we are out in the area of Shikoku, and my navigation is going to be going off this entire time, but I figured I would bring you guys along for a nice, calming, and beautiful drive in the area, as Shikoku has some of the most beautiful mountain roads. I know I said beautiful twice, but they really are beautiful roads. Like, look at this right now, and the way the light is just cutting through the trees. It is always just such a pleasant experience. Now, believe it or not, as you saw a moment ago with that truck, this is a two-brake road. It's not that narrow. It's fairly wide, but as I come around each one of these corners, I do have to keep my eyes on these mirrors so that I'm not too far in the middle, because people will come whipping around these sometimes, and more often than not, you'll also surprisingly get really large trucks coming through these areas. So you do have to proceed with extreme caution when you're driving these roads, not to mention the number of falling rocks and whatnot that you have the potential of running into. Also, while I haven't run into it as much in Shikoku, it is not uncommon in these mountain roads to come across animals suddenly. Out in the areas of Wakayama and Nara, you are almost guaranteed to come across deer, especially at night. When you get out into the area of Nagano, for example, you're also going to have to contend with a lot of fox. And the odd time, you'll come across a boar. I said that really quietly or slowly because I could not remember the English word for boar. So right now, I am heading out to a really old dam area. And I just happened to stumble across this on the maps, loved the aesthetic, and thought, you know what? I definitely want to go and check this out. And so that is where we are heading right now. As far as Shikoku roads go, this one is actually really nice, wide, clean, very well maintained. Some of the roads out here are horrendous. Sounds like such a negative word, but if I were to use the word horrendous, I don't mean as in bad, I just mean as in terrifying. They're not terrifying. You'll get a road that's about half this width with the no guardrail off to the side and cars going through at full speed. Now, the one that we just had there, he was going through at a very, very reasonable speed. Now I was able to zip off to the side just a little bit more to give him space. And luckily, he was a K vehicle, I'm a K vehicle. Neither one of us take that much space. But they often ask, well, then what happens if you're in a very narrow segment? Because there are a lot of them. And you suddenly come across, oh, so bumpy. And you suddenly come across another car and there's no space for you to pass. Well, more than often than not, the smaller car of the two, is one of the rules, will have to back up and make space for the other car. And sometimes that means backing up quite a bit. Sometimes you're only backing up, maybe 10, 20 seconds. Sometimes you're backing up 3-4 minutes because there's nothing nearby. The other way it's done is whatever car feels like they had an open space the closest behind them will just start backing up. Or whichever car just feels like they might, every now and then you'll get the smaller car, but maybe they're not a very confident or skilled driver, and you can tell they're frozen there. So a car will just kind of back up and give them space. So there's no set rule that it absolutely must be done this way. There is a certain amount of humanity to it, and I really enjoy that. I appreciate it. But sections like this are just wide enough for 2K cars to pass. If we were to have a full-size transport truck come through or a larger van, we may have gotten stuck in a spot like that. But one of my favorite risky roads I discovered maybe 2 years ago when I went out to visit my friend Yotan in his abandoned school. This particular road was not just narrow, but had no guardrails for the vast majority of it. Gorgeous light cutting through it almost the entire time. But our good friend Ayaka was the driver at that time, and she had a rather large van with her. It was just whipping through the roads like it was nothing. She was a very comfortable, confident driver. There were times I would look out the side and her wheel would be maybe 1 inch, 2 inches from the edge of a precipice with no guardrail, and she would just go with pure confidence. We had several major trucks come by, and she just managed to squeeze by them as if it was nothing. She didn't show any signs of stress. She's like, oh yeah, drive this road all the time. It's no problem. Huge, huge respect for that. And you get little shrines and whatnot like that out there, little graveyards. And you gotta wonder, then I don't see on the map near me any towns or whatnot nearby. There's a temple up here 6 kilometers away. So what is that little graveyard for? Ooh, we got a shrine up here. And somebody's actually managed to park a little Ginski scooter up there. Amazing. This section here has opened up, and on top of the animals, we really need to watch out for falling rocks in this area. You'll get rocks big enough that they could topple a high center of gravity K-van like the one I'm in right now if you hit them too hard. So while it's fun to whip through these roads at high speed, it's not always going to be the best idea, because you will suddenly come across just a giant rock just right in the middle of your lane and have to come to a stop. And if you're going too fast, the speed quote-unquote limit on here is 40, and I would say that's not too far off from what I'm doing right now. So if you're wondering what 40 feels like on one of these roads, this is pretty much it. I'm doing exactly 40 right now at this moment, and it feels like it's a fairly safe speed. So luckily, boom, car right into a nice wide area. Lovely. Now, one of the things that you do run the risk of is in these roads, you get kind of comfortable after a while if there's nobody at all around, of just kind of drifting to the middle. Or like this, there's no car coming in front of me. Rather than doing the full zigzag, just cut right through like that. And you'll find a lot of cars doing this in Japan, and it's why you need to be super, super cautious when coming around any corner. I've driven on this current adventure, because we're doing the 1 million seconds through Japan trip right now. I have done exactly at this moment 1,245 kilometers. So that's what? I'm not going to try and convert that to miles. It's going to be like, I don't know, 600-700 miles, somewhere around there, maybe more, I think. And the number of times that I have come around a corner like this one right here and had a car just coming head on for me, way out of their lane, has, well, it's definitely been more than I can count. It was definitely not just 2 or 3 times. The worst area for that was as I got closer to the city of Wakayama. The Wakayama city drivers are incredibly aggressive, and and we dropped down to 30 in this zone. The Wakayama city drivers are incredibly aggressive and will very, very often cut into other people's lanes like that. So if you're driving in that area, please take extra caution. Again, as I come around each one of these corners, keeping my eye on the mirrors. And amazingly, there have not been that many signs out here for please do not dispose of your garbage in this area. Usually you come out to a space like this and you will see a ton of these signs, and unfortunately an equal amount of garbage. They usually say that there are security cameras in operation, but when you get out to a space like this, you know there are likely not security cameras in operation. At best, maybe they have one of those animal tracking cameras up. Those things are actually really interesting. I've been thinking of grabbing one for a while to capture some Japanese wildlife. I kind of caught my interest in them when I was doing the documentary on Japan's top pet detective. I spent how many weeks, how many months going back and forth with them to get a full story, and it was quite the adventure. But we got all right, so we're taking a sharp left here, and let the construction guy here wave us through. Thank you very much, good sir. We are on our way, and we're just a few short moments away from arriving at the destination. All these statues and whatnot out here. It's just beautiful. Not to mention the amount of like thin bamboo groves as well. So it looks like we're getting up here and just doing a little, but this is what I mean, like big trucks do come through these roads. Ah, I see. So we're coming up here, and do we have enough of a turn radius to make this? Yes, we do, with ease. There we go. So a lot of the temples here in Shikoku will actually be marked for the Shikoku pilgrimage. And since arriving in Shikoku late this morning, I've already seen several people walking on bicycles, scooters, in their full Shikoku pilgrimage clothing and gear. And you really get the vibe, the feeling, the atmosphere of Shikoku when you get to see these people all over the place doing this pilgrimage. Some people will do it all at once, some people will break it into parts, and some people will spread it out over years and years of their life. A lot of people love to do it on foot because while it will take you quite some time, Shikoku is entirely walkable. Now I don't want to say like it's that small, like you can walk it in like a day or a week. Again, it would take you a lot of time. Just came from Awajishima today, and I was very, very surprised because when you look at Awajishima on a map, it looks very, very tiny. But when you actually go to drive from end to end, it takes hours to get anywhere on that island. So you're like, oh, it's tiny, but it's still wide. Alright, we got it. And it's saying that our road is going to narrow up here, and we have almost arrived at our destination. Very excited to see this place in person. It's always a bit of a gamble too, because when we get there, it might be the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, or it might be the most anticlimactic, just thump, there it is, and done. Nothing to look at. Takes all about 30 seconds. So many. Japan is full of announcements, as you know, and Japanese navigation systems are certainly no exception to that rule. We're going to get another one right now. Alright, so we're dipping off to this side here. And again, slightly narrow road. Who knows who, if anyone, is down here, so we're going to take it nice and cautiously. But I just tell you, I love these beautiful Shikoku roads. And we are just coming to the very end of this right now. We should be able to see it just as we get down to the end. Oh, he backed up. We had space, but he backed up. Thank you, sir. Really nice gentleman. And there we go. Oh, you can see the... Oh, my... I'm so happy about this. You can literally see it right there. You know what? I'll tell you what. I'm actually going to pull this out and I will give you a peek at this just to wrap it up. Let me back this car up here. There we go. All parked. I'll take that off. Car off. There we go. Okay. So, let me get this camera off of here. Just like that. And then we will go to, oh, this is beautiful. This was so worth the drive. Oh my goodness. Oh, you know, if there are any hiking trails in the area, this may end up being just a walk of its own. I don't think that there are going to be. So we're just gonna, look at this. I love it. Oh, I love it so much. I'll take a peek at this space here. I did not expect to come all the way out here and have this many people. Oh, spectacular. This is a very, very old dam. And oh, this is by far one of the most beautiful dams I think I've ever seen. Not one of the most. This is most certainly the single most beautiful dam I have ever seen. This is just wonderful. Now it is a little breezy out here, so if we're getting too much wind noise on the microphone, I do apologize for that. I wasn't expecting to get out of the car, and so I didn't put the wind muff on this. I didn't want to stop everything just to do that, but what have we got over here? The amount of areas that we come across that truly just look like a scene straight out of a Ghibli movie. Like, tell me that doesn't give you some, oh, come on. Like at this point, it's almost a meme where it's like, oh, look at the Ghibli vibes, but like, really, this is every type of spectacular. Oh, and now we have a bit of a hiking path here, and I don't think it's gonna take us far enough that I'm gonna do a separate piece, so we will just take our time and enjoy this space here. Oh my goodness. Oh. There is a setting on this camera for low light, and I didn't start the recording with that because it was bright out. So hopefully it's still holding up okay. I've been switching back and forth between this camera, the Insta360 Ace Pro, and my DJI, because when I watched the playback on these ones, it was giving me some really weird wobbly, warply stabilization thing. And okay, so this section of forest here has a Tachiri Kinshi sign on it that says keep out. I gotta wonder if it's like dam property. It likely leads up to a section of the dam that we shouldn't access, but also we have our little snake friend here. But if there were that many dangerous animals and snakes in there, we probably wouldn't be able to continue up this way. but we can, and so we will, just because I need to know where this is going to take us. It looks like it takes us up to the top of the dam. Oh, and there's another staircase here. Oh, this is, oh, wow. 100%, this is going on to my list of favorite spots in Japan so far. My biggest regret, actually, is that I didn't start the recording earlier. I got about halfway into the drive from like the entrance to that mountain and just fell in love with the road and was like, I have to share this. And had I started even earlier, I would have been able to see so much more. But I think all in all, it balances out. Oh wow, why is there nobody up here? Why? How am I the only one? There were so many people down there, maybe they don't know. This is so beautiful. And then the dam itself is here with a beautiful lake right here. Oh, trying to block some wind here. We cannot trespass beyond this point. Oh, how I would love to do that walk. And this is where we are at. Okay. I feel it only appropriate that we, oh, and there's like a bridge way out there. I don't know if you can see it, but it just looks like a gentle little suspension bridge. Now I really want to go out there. This is it. This is what happens with these adventures. I find one spot and it leads to me searching for another spot, leads to me searching for another and another and another. And if you want to pause this and Google Translate it, I'm sure it'll be 100% accurate with zero issues reading the text. So I hope that you've enjoyed reading all of that. Moving on, we're going to come back down this stairway. I want to go into the section there that split off and get one more peek at the dam itself, because this is, it's like a weird little dream. Sometimes I wonder, because in these moments, it is literally just me walking around here, and judging from the smiles of the other people around, I feel like they must feel the same way. They must have the same appreciation for the beauty of this place. But just me at the moment speaking here, I don't have your reaction. I can't see your face. I assume you're smiling. I assume you're gently enjoying this moment as much as I am, or even maybe half as much. But I could also be way off base. I could just be this weirdo who's super excited about a dam, a bunch of stairs. These, by the way, I'm 100% giving these a 10 out of 10. They're very easy to walk on. They're very aesthetically pleasing. They split off into different directions. 10 out of 10 stairs, absolutely. But I could just be that guy who's all goofy and excited about a dam, stairs, and forest. And you could be the person sitting there going, no, okay, buddy. It's a wall. It's a wet wall. But I 100% will be making my way back here at some point. Definitely did not expect to just be able to pull out of the car, pull right up to the dam in the car and see this like this. How is this even real? Oh, it feels like the set of a movie. Guys, this is why I'm in love with Shikoku. The island of Shikoku is filled with so many little hidden gems just like this. So many non-major spots that will just absolutely take your breath away. And I've spent years and years traveling and exploring the area, and every time I come back just like this, I manage to find something new and amazing, and I'm so incredibly grateful for that. You know, years ago, I used to help run an NPO, a nonprofit organization out here in the area of Shikoku. And one of the biggest reasons I wanted to do that is just I wanted to bring more attention to the area. There's no bullet train that runs through here, which unfortunately means I get a lot less visitors, a lot less tourism, all of that. But if you take that little bit of extra effort to come out, it's often very, very worth it. And I'm 100% not going to be attempting those stairs, but there are just stairs here. That feels dangerous. Okay, it says good. It says Tachiri Kinshi on the stairs. Like those stairs right there, it says Tachiri Kinshi. So can't go in there, but a lot of the people have also cleared out here. But I just cannot stop looking at this. Like I don't feel like I need to, but when you're driving out to something like this, again, you never know what to expect, and I'm glad that we got this. I would love to hear what your thoughts of this were. Did you enjoy the drive? Was the dam worth it? Let me know in the comments down below. The full playlist of the 1 million seconds traveling Japan will be linked down below. Thank you so much. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, and I will see you again real soon.